Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Ask Broman, episode 14. It's episode 14 already. Wow. It's November 29th. It is a Wednesday. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. I had a good morning. I drank a lot of coffee. It felt awesome. If you're new to the podcast, this is a podcast where people come in and they ask a question, and then we talk about it. If you're listening, you can listen on any location that you want to share with your friends. You can go on iTunes, you can go on Stitcher, you can go on Google Play, you can go on Anchor, which is a new one that we just started using. And you can come, you can tune in, you can follow me on Twitter at Professor Broman to find out when you can call in live and get your questions answered. All right, let's grab this person right here. This is Dad Got Game. I assume there are some X's in there, but I'm thinking that it's going to be okay. I'm thinking that it's going to be okay. Hello, Dad. Up. Are you there, bud?
What's going on, bro, man?
Oh, hi. Hello.
And I just realized I can't hear you. Gosh darn voice meter. I am delayed.
Well, you need to make sure you can talk to me live here, bud. It's technical difficulties, guys. Really good way to start off the podcast. It's all right. We'll probably just cut this out.
I got you now.
You got me now?
No, I don't have you now.
All
oh my
right.
gosh, this works in my Discord and it doesn't work in your Discord. That is super embarrassing. Hold tight. Bear with me.
It's all right, everybody. People have technical issues all the time.
There we go. I got you.
We'll edit all this bullshit out. But remember, guys, if you're going to be on the podcast, please make sure all of your shit works because it makes things go way smoother.
It sure does.
Hi,
Thanks,
what's
bud.
up, man?
First, thank you for putting together literally the most comprehensive streamer resource that I have found to date.
Cool. Thanks, man.
I legit went through all 13 episodes over the Thanksgiving holiday. I have been on forums, blogs, YouTube. Everything gets answered here. So thank you for that.
That's the point.
All right. So I've got 6 questions, but I prioritize them.
Okay.
So
I don't know if we'll get to all of them, but we'll try.
We won't. I guarantee you. But so first question, as a father of 2, husband with a full-time job, I can dedicate to streaming twice a week at the moment.
Okay.
I'm always looking at that schedule. However, I can usually find small chunks of time throughout the day to invest in other things, like tweeting other broadcasters that I watch, spending time in those streams, tweaking bots, graphics, all that jazz. If there were 3 things that I should do 100% of the time, day in and day out, to expand my reach, grow my community, what would they be?
I mean, it sounds like you're already doing it. I mean, since you have a limited amount of time to broadcast, I'd first consider maybe changing the format of what you're doing to YouTube or something pre-recorded, because you can produce content and spread it out over the week, but that's besides the point. But I mean, the number one thing that you can do, you're already doing, which is interacting with people and becoming part of whatever community you're seeking to join as a content creator. So spending times in chat rooms, spending time on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever, and actually interacting people in a meaningful way is huge. So that would be number 1. Number 2, make sure you engage with everyone that follows you as much as you possibly can. I make it a habit to try and reply to every single tweet, every single DM, and every single Facebook message that I receive. It is difficult at times, especially if I have a tweet that gets a lot of traction. Like I didn't get to respond to people around Thanksgiving at all because my DMs were destroyed with people telling me which broadcasters they liked and they were thankful for. So I had like 500 replies on that tweet, so I couldn't do it there because it turned into like everyone having private conversations, but I'm still tagged. So that was fun. But I make it a habit to reply to absolutely everybody that I can. And so that's a great habit to have as well. And then 3 is make sure you're actually posting content everywhere that you're at every single day, and try and make it relevant, like with all the hashtags and all that good stuff. Make sure you learn a little bit about the platform that you're on so that you're actually enabling discoverability when you choose to on that platform. Those are my top 3 for you. There you go. Boom.
That's awesome. Thank you. I did start posting daily on YouTube, just grabbing clips that the community have clipped of me on Twitch.
That's great.
And so I am using YouTube, back to using YouTube again.
Yeah, good.
And this actually parlays into question number 2. How do you use the various social platforms? I mean, there's overlapping content, at least in my opinion. I think like Snapchat and Instagram have a very similar vibe with being image focused. Facebook and Twitter are like microblog heavy.
Sure.
When would you choose to use one over the other for what types of content?
I mean, like I use everything for everything. You can look at your approach to content creation in one way or another. Like, one, you can try and fit it, which is great. Like trying to fit the visual content on Instagram is great, but a huge pull on Instagram posts is the text that's underneath your picture. That has an incredibly high amount of value. Videos also do really well on Instagram. So these clips that you're taking from your stream and you're putting on YouTube, if you take like the most content rich 30 seconds out of that and post it on your Instagram and put all the right text and hashtags on it, that's going to get you a lot of traction by default, because it is a way that people consume content on Instagram that is, I mean, it's starting to get more utilized, but a vast majority of people just don't want to fuck with it. So they're going to not repurpose their content. Like that's something I'm not doing yet because it's outside of the span of time I have every single day. Like one of my goals next year would be to find an intern or an editor to take all of the content that I am making and edit it back down so that I can have, really rich content on every platform that I'm posting on. So that's the standard. But like the other play is whenever you see somebody or you see people not using a platform in a specific way, I would challenge you, and I challenge myself to try and find a way to make it work there. For example, there's not a lot of long form video content on Facebook. So I intentionally put this podcast in video form up on Facebook. Because as Facebook grows, there's going to be a greater chance, especially since they just launched Facebook Watch and things like that. I think that there's a wonderful opportunity for all content creators, gaming and non-gaming, on Facebook with Facebook Watch, because right now, like you said, Facebook's like microblogging. It's a lot of small content all the time. But if Facebook grows and decides that they want to leverage into longer content and push that and elevate that on their site with discoverability and all these other assets and monetization, if you're in there now making long form content, you're already in the wheelhouse of content creators that Facebook is going to look at to try and bring on early in that program.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I mean, yes, Facebook is not in the gaming space barely at all. So I agree with you when you say there's a huge opportunity there.
Yeah.
To grow your gaming business, if you will, in Facebook. So as a affiliate and someone who's been doing this for 3 months, I'm nowhere near making this a full-time job.
Sure.
I'd love to. Nowhere near it though, but realistically I'm patient and willing to, be consistent over the long haul to potentially turn this into something a few years down the road.
That's what you have to do.
Third, this is a little bit different, but more related to the business side and more to the family side.
I'll do what I can. Yeah.
Healthcare and healthcare costs. How do you handle it? Do you get help from your management team?
No,
you do it independently?
I mean, there are some things in the work at OPG to maybe, like, I don't know. They're always trying to expand, right? They're always trying to make things better. Like they just announced vacation time, that they're sort of self-funding with work that we do via them. I know that healthcare is on their radar as well, but as of right now, And this is just great advice for anybody who is a small, if you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur or a content creator, everyone is in the same goddamn boat. If you don't work for a company and you work for yourself, you have to cover your own healthcare costs.
Yep.
So yeah, like, do you have a specific question about that? Like,
no, I was just wondering how, I mean, it is very small business related and something that's at top of mind. If I ever get the opportunity to do this for a living, I need to cover my 3-year-old and my 1-year-old and my wife and myself from a healthcare standpoint. So that was really just where it was geared.
Yeah. I mean, if you can use the healthcare exchange, you can use the healthcare exchange. If you're looking for private insurance works as well. I need to get signed up for next year, and you just reminded me for that as well. But yeah, it's out of pocket for me. I don't have any I don't have any assistance there.
So if I've got time, I like I said.
No, you do. Yeah, you're moving. We're moving along. It's all good.
All right. So as a new streamer, obviously my focus is on community because every single person needs to feel special.
Yep.
Agree with you wholeheartedly on that point. As you grow, though, how do you focus on making a large community still feel small and personal?
You get creative. Like this. I mean, like I know that sounds like a shitty answer, but like, listen to me. Like that is the magic, right? Finding a way to make a large community feel small is one of the, like, that is a creative catch point. You have to, like, there's no basic answer that I could give you that's going to be a perfect solution to your issue with that, if that makes any sense. Okay. So like, for example, I mentioned this on, I think, the podcast I was on Rasputin Radio, and they asked me a similar question, or it came up. And, one of the things that I care about a lot is community. Okay. So this is a hard thing to do when you go from 30 viewers to 3,000 viewers. Okay.
Right.
So as you scale up, trying to maintain the connection with your community is hard. And for a long time, I went through bouts of not being able to connect. And if you've been a longtime follower of my channel, there were always experiments that I was doing to try and connect with people, right? So we would do viewer raid days, and I'd bring everyone on Discord, and I'd try and have a solid connection with them while we were raiding. That was shit because you're too busy focusing on raiding. And then we started doing Storytime Sunday, and I was like, okay, well, this will be good. Everyone's going to come on and share stories. That turned out to be shit because not everyone's a great storyteller, but since I am, it's one of the few things that I'm good at. Everyone was expecting, these just phenomenal stories from random people on the internet. So instead of it being positive, it became shitty. And then this happened. So all of those things were 100% leveraged by my ability to be creative. So as your channel grows, you need to pay attention to the things that you enjoy doing and find ways to sort of scale them down so that you can continue to have this interaction with your community, no matter what size you are. And it's a difficult problem to solve. And it took me 4 years to solve it for me personally. And you are currently sitting in the solution to that problem for me and talking to me about it. Fair enough?
Yes, that is 100% fair. It's a good thing that I love people. So, last one, maybe two.
No, you got time. You got time for the other two. So, you're being very succinct and not asking follow-ups. So it's all good.
Well, thank you. And you're giving me good information so I don't have to follow up.
Good. Try. Means I'm getting better. That's good. That's good feedback.
One of the things that I want to do as I continue to grow the channel is to give back. I mean, that's a huge, I want to do that. So I completely spaced the Extra Life event this year. I should have taken that opportunity. I didn't, but I will be participating in that next year. How would you suggest approaching, say, the people who run Guardian Con, wink, wink, nod, nod, about being interested in broadcasting as part of an event?
Well, the people at Guardian Con, i.e. me as the charity director, already have a space for you to go sign up and fundraise for Guardian Con right now.
Okay.
You can go to guardiancon.co/support. you can sign up for your GuardianCon fundraising page right there, and you can start fundraising from right now all the way up until the actual event. We're working on some prizing, one of which, if we can financially swing the whole thing, would be flying out the number one individual fundraiser leading up to the event, which I guess we haven't really announced that yet, so shut the fuck up. But there's a lot of things that we're trying to do to incentivize people to be proactive and do fundraising. When people do fundraising, I want GuardianCon to be at the top of their mind, and so we're doing everything that we can to sort of get it there. So right now, if you want to fundraise for GuardianCon, which is raising money for St. Jude, by the way, guys, all the money through the support page and through the Tiltify page goes directly to St. Jude. You get a receipt from them and a tax receipt and everything. You can go to guardiancon.co/support. It doesn't matter if you're a Twitch streamer or a podcast producer, doesn't matter what it is. If you want to fundraise, we'd be honored if you considered working with us. But yeah, that's how you do it.
Fantastic. I wrote down the web address. I will be out there shortly. So last one, and I might completely alienate people here, and I know it, but I'm going to go there anyway. As a primarily Christian broadcaster, my focus is on creating family-friendly content, right?
Sure.
I want to build an inclusive
Sure, you're
community.
making something that's in line with your values.
Yes, correct.
I get it. That's fine.
And yeah, I know you're probably like, Christian. That's totally opposite of what Christians actually are, which is sad. But however, my ask or my question is, how, as a family-friendly broadcaster, do you go out and try and collaborate with people who maybe aren't necessarily family-friendly? I'm having a hard time finding folks that don't drop bombs, and no offense to you, obviously, but
that's fine.
People drop bombs and stuff like that, and I
like
want
to
to make sure
motherfucking
that,
swear. It's great.
Right, exactly, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's your content, and that's cool. But just trying to figure out and get creative on ways I can collaborate with other broadcasters so that I'm helping them, they're helping me, doing that whole thing.
Sure. Again, I think you already identified it as you need to get creative with your solutions. My number one piece of advice, and this is coming from someone who does, a PG/PG-13 stream, which is Lono, Say No to Rage. He just lets everybody know if he's collaborating with somebody who's not PG, that, until I'm done playing with these people, where, you might hear some stuff that you wouldn't usually hear on my channel. I don't really have a great solution for you there, because it's not a problem I have had to solve in my content creation. Sure. So my advice, I guess, would be, again, get creative and try and find a solution for yourself. If you off the top, if you maybe ran your stream with a 7-second delay and you could, build in an audio bleep box for people, that shit would, one, it would solve your problem, and two, it would be fucking hilarious.
Right.
So if you could manage a way to be on that, and just cover it to make sure that, just like they do on the radio, you've got a 7-second delay to hit the button and make sure, everybody on your stream doesn't hear the bomb. That would be hilarious. That's a great idea. It's one solution. I don't know if it works for you, but that's the sort of thing you need to be looking at.
Head delay to the okay. I'm literally writing down some of these things so that
that's fine. Please do.
The other thing that I thought about was collaborating, but not including their audio in the stream, and that is not a good solution. But if there's a way to engage with the other broadcaster, or have you ever done it where you've engaged with someone, another collaborator, and not included their audio, but still managed to swing that?
People would be hearing one side of a conversation, and it would be a really horrible viewing experience. I don't recommend not including other people's audio, because then it sounds like, one, you're crazy, or two, you're just talking to yourself all the time. You know what I mean? So you need to you need to figure out a solution to include their audio, but still make your content meet your standards. Again, like I really appreciate all your questions, because we've been giving, like, a lot of what we've done on the podcast has been giving really practical advice in a field that is incredibly creative. And a lot of your questions, the solutions to them is you need to get a little bit more creative. Because well, like that's where the magic is. Like, having a censored stream with a fucking bleep button, like, that's fucking gold. People would love that shit. That's not something I see on Twitch right now. So, like, that is, you need to look at everything that you're trying to do as an opportunity to create, not just video content or audio content, but like creating community and creating change, or taking any sort of, challenge that you might be encountering and pushing into that as an opportunity to try and create something new.
Sure. Well, that actually gave me a great idea. I think I will be implementing at some point. I'm 3 months in, so
yeah, no, I get it.
As a 34-year-old broadcaster, I am still learning
I can tell that you're 3 months in, because you're asking, which that's another piece of advice I always give people is, once you broadcast for 3 months, you've beat out 80% of the competition on Twitch already, because you kept broadcasting. But inside of that first 3 months, you learn a lot. Learning by doing with anything that's creative is huge, and it's obvious that you're paying a lot of attention because you're asking good questions. So you should give yourself a little pat on the back, because you're doing a good job.
Well, I'm looking forward to the experimentation process as well, because I'm trying some new things that I haven't done in the past, and it's good. So thank you. That's all I had.
Cool.
So sorry for kaifing all your time, but
no, it's fine, dude. Like, you got me. This is your opportunity, and you capitalized on it. I think it's great.
Well, thank you again for putting this together. Like I said, it's been extremely helpful, and is one of the most comprehensive that I've found anywhere on the internet.
I'm the only one doing it.
So. I try. Well, and that's exactly it. I try and not be prideful, but I'm usually good at Google searching.
No, I mean, listen, I am too. That's one of the other reasons why we did this. We can sit here and talk analytics and choice all day. But I would rather you shout all of your stuff out for these people. Your Twitch handle, your Twitter handle, everything.
Because we like to twiddle on Twitter.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. Twitch.tv/DadXGotXGame. I am DadXGotXGame everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch.
So it's Dad Got Game, but instead of spaces, it's X's.
Yeah, because, Dad Got Game was taken everywhere else.
Hey, man, that's fine. I mean, it's still reasonable.
Yeah.
For you to find it. There you go. Newsom's dropping it in chat. Well, thank you very much, man. I hope that I look forward to hearing how all this stuff goes for you. And I will talk to you later, man.
At some point, I'm going to DM you about analytics, because analytics across all the platforms, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it is. It's really exciting.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you, man. Bye.
Bye.
That guy had some good ass questions, dude. These are really, really good questions. I think the big takeaway from that conversation, if you wanted like my thought, is I used to look at problems, like every time it was a problem, I was like, fuck this. And I thought that it couldn't change. Like, this is dumb. I guess I'll just have to do something else. Nah. Like the reality is, and the magic of doing it, and this is any fucking business. The magic is when somebody tells you no, or somebody says that's not how it's done, you can look at it like a roadblock, or you can look at it like an opportunity. Like, if you're the first person who can breach that gap and can move whatever it is you're trying to do into a platform where no one else is doing it, but you're doing it effectively, you fucking win. Like, you win long term, just because you are the first person to get there, and that's there's so many opportunities like that still on Twitch and everywhere that haven't been implemented. So keep your eyes out for those things. If you are doing anything, whenever somebody tells you no, or whenever somebody tells you like you can't, or that's not how it works, look at it and be like, but what if it is how it works? Like, what if it was? And then try things, experiment. You might fail a whole bunch, but eventually you'll find the thing that works. And here's the kicker, right? You only really need one idea to go super fucking great. That's it. Fail as many times as you want, but you have to keep going because one time you won't fail, and that's it. You won the fucking lottery. Congratulations. So let's grab the next person in here. Let's get, I think this is Astros. Astros.
This is really
Astros.
unlucky.
Hey, what's up, man?
I have to go back into work.
But like, how much time do you have?
Like a minute and a half.
Fucking go.
Well, my question was, I used to stream CSGO, and I grew like really fast, and I ended up getting affiliated in like a couple months.
Sweet.
And then I like really lost my like passion for the game.
Yeah.
So I like stopped streaming it and completely like switched games. And then like ever since then, I've been streaming for like 4 months for like absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
And like, it's just really rough. And then I like try like branching out and like doing other stuff. And I'm getting like no results. And I don't really know if it's something where I could just kind of have to put up with the game and play it until like I grow a following that will follow me to other games, or if I just continue playing like what I want and then worry about other people later.
I would adapt if I was in your position, and I've been in your position before. I would adapt a hybrid strategy. I would do what it takes to get the people in the door for the first hour or 2 hours of your stream, and then switch games. Because you have some momentum and discoverability if you're playing one game. So if you lean on that and you get your 10 viewers, 15, 20, whatever, how many viewers you're getting, and then you're like, all right, dudes, now we're going to go play like, Johnny Dick Sucking Adventure or whatever the hell. Someone in that group of 20 people will be like, yo, man, I love Johnny Dick Sucking Adventure. That game is the shit. I want to hang out and watch you play it. That's my that's my advice. Does that make sense?
That's the one minute advice.
Yeah, I mean, like but literally, like that is the best solution to where you're at right now. Other than that, I mean, all of the traditional advice I'd give to someone who's trying to do variety broadcasting. So pay attention to the Steam charts, pay attention to the game sales charts, and then pay attention to Twitch. Find which games are being purchased but not streamed, and stream those games, because you're going to have a higher chance of discoverability inside of that metric.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Anytime, dude. Have a good day.
Yep, you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Man, Johnny, that was good. That's good. I hope that was sufficient answer. But I mean, that's like legitimately, that's how I grew my channel into variety. Was people knew me for one game, and then they knew me for another game. And whenever I wanted to do variety, if I started the stream with something different, no one would show up. If I started the stream with 2 hours of what folks were expecting before I transitioned to another game, normal viewership across the board. So it really is a powerful strategy. People get used to finding you one way, and you need to learn how to play into that long term. As you're expanding, you need to lean on your strength and then throw out your experiment. You need to do that over and over and over again. The theme today, man, experimentation. It's fucking smart. All right, let's get Mr. Sammy J. I've seen him in Discord like every single day. Mr. Sammy J. How are you doing? He's muted and deafened and all that good stuff, so he's waiting for the delay to catch up with him.
There we go. Yeah. Hey, Broman.
Hey, what's up, dude? How are you?
How's it going, man? Long time listener, first time caller.
Yeah, absolutely. What can I do for you, man?
Hang on, let me close my office door.
Yeah, fuck all those other people in the office. They're nerds.
No, I work from home.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those people in your office are nice. They're great. Say it.
I have a couple questions for you. The first one is music rights. So,
Sure.
Abstract art, and
You do abstract art.
And I do. Trying to catch my thought. I didn't expect you're going to grab me, so I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, get surprised. There you go.
It's a surprise, man. Time lapse on all my art.
Sure.
Add music to it because it's boring if you watch 6 minutes without any music to it.
Sure.
And I noticed you had music at the beginning of your intro. Do you have to get in order to use it, or is it you just have to like slap a label on it and say this is the copyright owners?
Okay, so this is a really good question. Twitch is sort of like the Wild West still when it comes to copyright. I think the reason that it's like that is companies like Spotify. If I was in Spotify and I saw everybody using my Spotify playlists on Twitch, right. Even if the music was copyrighted, I'd say, you know what? Ultimately, this is going to result in more downloads and more total streams of whatever song people are listening to. So it's sort of like a passive advertising cost, and they pay it forward by not prosecuting people. Not that copyright infringement gets prosecuted often anyway, when it comes to musical rights, unless it's a big fucking problem, like Eminem in New Zealand. That happened this year. So there's that as far as like music that has copyright in it. My suggestion though is if you're uploading these time-lapse videos to YouTube and stuff, there is an absolute ass ton of music that is copyright free, from all genres, all styles, just absolute fuck tons of it. If you Google copyright free and then insert your musical taste, EDM, country, metal, whatever, hip hop, you will find music that fits your style. And the most requested thing in that situation is just attribution. Hey, this is a free beat by, Dr. Buttkicks. He's great. Go check him out. drbuttkicks.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and on YouTube, even in post after you've uploaded a video, you can replace audio with copyright-free audio from YouTube as well.
That's the kind of variety I can come up with my art. I have a second question for you.
Sure.
I am kind of like a pioneer, kind of rogue on my art. Not a lot of people are doing what I do. I do kind of mirror art. So I paint a quarter of the picture and then I mirror it.
You mirror it?
Yeah, I mirror it. So like if you were to take like a picture of a dog, I would paint half of it and then you would mirror it. But I do it on all four sides.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find a programmer that can do that on stream. Like I'm thinking about streaming, and I want to take 1/4 of the panel and then the rest of it's all mirrored. So you're painting one part of it. And then is it too hard to figure out? Is my description too bad?
No, that's good. That's good. So what are you looking for, a programmer to sort of build out with? Is that the sort of situation?
Well, I've looked for programs out there that do what I want to do, but there's none that do it. Like I want to be able to mirror it, like flip it backwards and then flip it another level too. So you're looking at, I'm painting one section of it and the other 3 panels of the art being filled in by just what I'm painting on the one section of it.
I gotcha. I mean, but you've looked into like Photoshop and all other stuff, and it's not really delivered what you're looking for. I mean, you're on some next level shit here, and I'm not a graphical artist, so I'm going to assume that you've done your due diligence and you've done research, and you still can't find what you want. Is that where you're at?
I'm wondering, should I go to like Twitch or something and be like, hey, you guys aren't offering this? I'm kind of pioneering this field. Is this something that you could do? Like,
I mean, like the first thing is like, it's obviously start like if you're broadcasting your content, like that's going to help people find you. And the other thing you could do is like, you have a good idea of your concept. You could go out on Twitter and find people who do programming work, just like Google search programmer, and you could just start messaging them. You could start replying to them. You could go in for a hard sell and just blind DM like 100 people that are programmers on Instagram, because all you need is one that's willing to work with you because they think you're interesting. Or you could go more long term and just start interacting with them. And then once you're a established part of a community, you can go in for the ask as well. if you really feel like having a program would accelerate your growth and your ability to produce more artistic content and things like that, I mean, I would devote time every single day to searching for that programmer in that way.
It's great advice, man.
Oh, well.
Thank you. Sorry, wife walked in with breakfast.
No problem, man.
Just on a side note, I've been a long time Destiny streamer. That's why I watch it. And I want to thank you for all the time. And I was like, maybe it's time to sign up. And I'm glad they added that Twitch. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I met another guy on my raid team that's actually an artist too, and he actually moved out down the street so we can co-op together. Just thought that was a cool. He moved from Boston all the way out to Colorado.
Oh, that's freaking great.
So, but yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for the advice. It's awesome.
I mean, I appreciate you, man. I hope I was able to give you some advice. Your mic was kind of cutting out all over there, but I think I got the gist of what you were going on. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I know that if you're not a part of their forum already, I know that the Destiny community artists have a Discord server. You could reach out to some of them and see if they know any really good programmers to work with you on your art. I think that what you're doing is neat. It's really creative and it's a little outside of my scope. So please go out there and try and find somebody that can work with you, especially if you have, a vision in, interdisciplinary stuff, like working with code and art at the same time is really cool. Interdisciplinary things are always end up being the cutting edge of whatever the medium is. So you're in a good place and you're looking for the right things, I think. So yeah, just, be encouraged by that and know that there's probably somebody out there that wants to work with you too.
Thank you very much for the advice.
I mean, anytime. Do you want to shout out where you're at so that all these wonderful people can find you?
Instagram at SammyJArt at Instagram.com.
Instagram.com/SammyJArt. Or is it Mr. Sammy J Art?
Art.
You keep cutting out. If you could post it in the chat room for everybody, that would be awesome.
Very much, man.
All right, man. You have a good day. I think it's Instagram.com/SammyJArt. I'm actually going to go follow him right now. I'm going to see if I can follow this guy. All right. Ah, shit. Okay. Well, I just dropped my phone and that's not, I don't want to look at it. So shit. It sounds like, yeah, there we go. Instagram.com/SammyJArt. SammyJAYART. SammyJArt. Love it. All right. It looks like we got time for, we've been moving along fast. We got time for a couple more, I'm sure. So let's get this guy. This is the Colorado Kid, which I assume is some sort of like gangster from like the 1920s.
Hey, can you
what's
hear
up,
me?
man?
How's it going, man?
It's going wonderful. What can I do for you?
Awesome, man. First of all, thank you for bringing me on. I've been trying to get on for quite a while now.
I've seen you in there
stoked.
every week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dedication.
So the first question I have is, like, I'm a brand new streamer. I just started like last week.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so, like, what platform, like, should I focus on just one platform like Twitch?
No.
Or should I go towards, like, Mixer, YouTube, Facebook Watch?
No. You should not focus on one platform.
Okay.
5 years ago when I started, Twitch was kind of the only game in town. There were some other competitors, but when it came to live streaming content, they were up there first. But now you have Facebook Live, you have Mixer, you have Twitch, you have, Instagram and Twitter both have live streaming platforms as well. It's built in there. I would give you the same advice that I gave to somebody in, I guess it was like week 1 or 2 of us doing this. There's a website called restream.io All right. And the way the website works is you can go there and you can get a stream key from them, and you put that into OBS or whatever. You broadcast to their server and they redistribute it onto, so you have one stream going to them, and then they put it on Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you want it to go. And they also have an app that will integrate all of those chat rooms into one chat room, which used to be what I would say is the biggest problem, is that you're interacting with 3 chats, but you can see all of them at the same time. And then it just comes up to you to be creative and make sure that people know what's going on.
Okay.
That's what I would recommend. And then once one of those platforms take off, I would start building out more features there first. And then eventually, if one of them is obviously the difference maker, you'll probably have to decide to go one direction or another. But right now, since you're just starting, you can be anywhere.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
You don't have any contracts that says you can only stream in one location.
Okay, and now I'm streaming from a PlayStation 4, and I've been trying to figure out how to take that content. Like, I've been taking like in-game pictures and trying to get that from my PlayStation to like Instagram and YouTube. And kind of a double question on this is like, can I take previous broadcasts that Twitch has recorded and take those broadcasts and edit it for YouTube and Facebook, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Any broadcast that you do on Twitch is saved for 14 days. You can go in there and you can click download MP4 and you have it.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
So you have that. As far as sharing stuff directly from the PlayStation, I don't do that.
Right.
And in my opinion, since you have the capacity, you're already streaming, you already have the content made. Like, you have an infinite amount of screenshots from your stream. You have an infinite amount of content there as well. I would focus on getting a hold of that and getting used to redistribute it. Getting used to redistributing it, because that's going to be a more powerful skill in the long term, is being really comfortable with redistributing and editing your own content. So I would recommend getting used to that, downloading the MP4, and then getting comfortable with editing. Because that's going to go a little bit further for you than just learning how to upload a quick clip to Instagram from your PlayStation.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. That's what I'm trying to learn is, I'm all new to, I really haven't used social media all that much, and I'm trying to learn.
Lots to learn. Lots to learn.
It's a massive amount. I mean, I'm 31 years old. Yeah, I grew up on technology, but you'd think I'd know it better. I should have got into it years ago. Like, I listened to your podcast earlier about adapting, and I was like, yeah, I just got to adapt and learn and continue to grow, and just humble yourself and be like, as soon as you think you know everything, you don't.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. So that was this morning. I put that out this morning. Yeah. The challenge for the end of the year to grow. That's awesome. Yeah, don't be like me. Yeah. Don't be a dinosaur. If you see new shit, pick it up and check it out. If I would have done that with literally any social media platform after I started on Twitch, I would have 250,000 followers on Instagram, but I have 20,000 instead because I didn't start on time.
Right.
It wasn't part of my full integration and build out of my social platforms. So now I'm trying to shoehorn it in at the end. So yeah, you're doing the right thing by looking at it that way. And good job. You're a smart guy.
I try. I'm not all that smart, but I'm getting there. Lastly, I just want to thank you, man, and for providing all this valuable information. You're a real inspiration because, like, in my situation, I sleep in my van. I'm basically homeless, but I live a pretty good life. I rent a co-working space at a entrepreneurial hub where, it's $350 a month. I have a shower, kitchen to use, and they're actually letting me use one of the conference rooms that they actually charge people like $50-$60 an hour to use them. And they're like, if you're just going to be streaming at night and on the weekends, go ahead and use it. And I was like, sweet, thanks. So I went out and got my PlayStation, and I'm streaming Assassin's Creed Origins right now.
Yeah. what other what are your other projects that you're working on right now?
Originally what attracted me to the co-working space is I was starting a federal government contracting business after I watched the movie War Dogs.
Okay.
I was like, no way, is
gotcha.
this fucking legitimate? And
Yeah.
I found out that the government arena, the government actually it's the world's largest marketplace. They actually spend more money than American people do.
Sure.
And I was just like, holy crap. So back in April, I was living in Southeast Colorado. I lived off grid all winter. And I saw that movie and I started the business. I sold my truck and got it all started up. And then I moved to Fort Collins, Colorado. And that's where I first found a co-working space up there.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I could, find a room to rent, a job, and I'll be good. And I couldn't find a room to rent because population in Colorado exploded in the past few years, so rent skyrocketed.
It did.
Can't find a place to live, and so I was like, well, shit. And I found that co-working space, and I was like, well, it's $250 a month, 24/7 access. I got a shower, coffee, internet, and so I started working my business then, but I couldn't gain any traction because basically I just look up government contracts. I would source what they were looking for, get a quote, mark it up a little bit, just a basic broker. And I was losing all my deals because I didn't have the best price. And so I'm like, I kind of, after months of this, and then winter was coming around because I bought a conversion van to sleep in. I was like, I don't want to pay $600 a month in rent for just a place to sleep. So I just bought a conversion van to sleep in. And with winter coming around, I moved out to California, and I've been out here since the beginning of September. And
Gotcha. So your stream is like your side hustle to your hustle.
Kind of, yeah.
All right.
And but I mean, I've been playing games, and like video gaming is my passion. I love playing games. It's just a hell of a lot of fun. And then I found Twitch just a couple weeks ago, and I was like, holy crap! Like, I could hang out with people. I could share video games. We could hang out and talk, and even and it's cool. It's a really great platform, and I'm really thankful for Twitch because my mom gets on, and she really misses me. And so she could get on and she could see me play and interact and chat.
Hell yeah, dude. That's
her,
awesome.
and it's an amazing thing. And I'm like trying to get a hold of all my old friends from childhood and like, hey man, you need to get on here. Let's play some games together.
That is such a great attitude, man. Your attitude is actually really inspiring to me. Because you just mentioned in the span of like 5 minutes 3 things that would just make most people fucking quit. Like, that was hard. I'm done. But you didn't give up. And I think that is incredibly goddamn commendable. So, like, way to go. And if you, first of all, before we go any further and before I forget, make sure you shout out all your stuff for people so they can find you.
For sure. All my social media, twitch.tv/the Colorado Kid. Colorado spelled with a K.
Colorado is spelled with a K, guys. The Colorado Kid, okay? With a K.
Yeah, I kind of got that from like the Billy the Kid, the kind of outlaw.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so cool. So I fucking keyed into it right away. It was like Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. All right.
Yeah, so yeah, my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, it's all the Colorado Kid.
Hot. I love it, man. So yeah, there you go. There's that. Second of all, if you ever like need to tap me for like a resource, if you're working on something and you have a project or you have some sort of entrepreneurial whatever the fuck you're working on, because who the fuck knows where you might be in 3 months, because you sound like the kind of guy that sees an opportunity and goes after it. So if you ever need to tap me as a resource, or if you want to bounce ideas off someone or ask me a question, just feel free to send me an email. I'll look for it, assuming it's the same email address as you. And if not, you can just be like, hey Ben, it's the Colorado Kid, in the header, and I'll make sure that I check it out, because I want to get you out of that goddamn van.
Yeah,
all right, bro.
Out of the damn van. I've been sleeping in that since May.
Yeah, man, I want to get you out of that fucking van, and you've got the hustle and the dedication and the drive and the focus, and I want to help if I can.
Dude, thanks so much, bro, man, and thank you for bringing me in. And I mean, you motivate me and inspire me, and I watch you and I listen to all your podcasts, and I greatly appreciate you, dude. You're a great dude.
Oh, thank you very much, man. You have a great day.
Thanks, man. You too, bro. Thanks.
All right, bye. Give the Colorado kid a follow everywhere, guys. Okay, Colorado is with a K. I like his name. His branding is on fucking point, dude. I absolutely adore that guy. And that, like, I can't, dude. Like, how often have you heard somebody talk about living in a van and it was an afterthought and they weren't fucking complaining about it? Like, you want fucking inspiration to chase your goddamn fucking dream? Like, holy shit. I am inspired right now. That is fucking incredible, man. That is absolutely incredible. Such an amazing guy. Okay, we got 10 minutes, so I think we can do one more. We can do one more question. So let's grab this guy. I haven't talked to him in a while. I feel like it's been a minute. This is I Am Atmo. I Am Atmo. Let's see if he can break the silence here and we can talk.
Can you hear me, man?
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. Long time listener, first time caller, right?
Hey, yeah. Apparently that's a fucking thing now. How are you? What can I do for you?
Good. I mean, well, it's easier for me to call now because I work remotely, so I can kind of stream or watch you during the day a little easier than working in the office.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, you know, I've kind of been thinking a lot lately. I'm a really big fan of Destiny, and a lot of the rhetoric when I go on Reddit is kind of disappointing because people are kind of like complaining a lot, and whether or not it's justified is just something that, you know, I design things that a lot of people use, and they're not necessarily video games, but I know that the things I make, you know, obviously people get to use them and like feel kind of probably don't like how they come out all the time, but kind of what role do you think a designer has, especially behind like something like Destiny, in like making something that they feel kind of justifies like what they think people should use or should enjoy as part of their artistic vision versus like, you know, what people actually want or think they need or something.
Ooh, man, tough question, right? So like at the core of this, this is a really good question. So like at the core of anyone who's doing something creative, right? You have this internal struggle of what does the consumer want, and like how do I make something that's marketable? And on the other side, you have like your artistic vision, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough question. So let me give you my thoughts, because I definitely don't have a fucking answer. That's like a PhD thesis you could write on that. Okay. So here are my thoughts. One, over everything else, authenticity is your most powerful asset. It trumps everything else, even the barking dog. So the fact that if you are creating and you have the power and the capacity to be authentic, that's incredibly important. So when somebody sacrifices their vision for marketability, that's when things get a little bit fucking weird. And ultimately, and I've seen this play out a few times in my lifetime, and I'm not that old. When somebody says, you know what, whatever, I'm just going to make something that's marketable, their career is usually over in 3 or 4 years as a creative person. And they might have cashed out and they might have done great, and maybe that was their dream. But when you start making creative products specifically designed for a market space, you lose whatever edge it is that, you know, the soul, the authenticity, whatever went into your art. That's my opinion. And I've experimented with trying to make my channel more market palatable for people as well. Every time I did that, negative results. So I have an incredibly high aversion to trying to design around a market demand. So that's the first thought. So it's totally cool and it's awesome to have a vision that you're pushing out there. All right. At the same time, the tightrope is you can't just push it out there especially if you're doing practical design, right? Like if I'm designing a chair and I make a chair that has a stick that goes in your asshole because that's my vision, and someone says, yo, when I sit on your chair, it hurts my asshole. And you're like, fuck you, you swine. Like you clearly didn't, like you're not listening to proper feedback, right? So you need to make sure that you're not designing an asshole puncturing chair at the same time. There's a way to take your vision and you're not redesigning it for a market space, but you're making sure that the core of what it is that you are publishing or creating is there. And then you can design things around it that make it more palatable. But like, you know, if you look at a lot of people, and I don't know why this idea came up into my mind, probably because he just released a new album and he's been on a lot of podcasts that I've listened to. But like, if you want to go into the hip hop space, T-Pain, okay, when he came out, he had that auto-tune shit, right? And everybody fucking hated it. Even Jay-Z like made a fucking track called The Death of Auto-Tune, and now he's auto-tuning his shit. You know, so when T-Pain came out with that, he was like, this is a sound I like. This is who I am. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do it. Now, like, he still operated inside of the hip hop space, designing, like, he used beats still. He wasn't using fucking metal guitar riffs and then telling everybody it was hip hop, right? You know, so he had his ideas and he had his concept that he wanted to push out there. And so he did it. And now, because he was there first, because he was an originator of that sound, he gets a lot of credit. But he had to deal with a lot of bullshit first. So like, that's one example. I wish that I had more, and that was the one that just came into my mind. Does that sort of help frame things up for you a little bit?
Yeah, well, I mean, since you're so in touch, you spend so much more time with like a game like Destiny, and you can probably start to see the kind of, rails that the designer put in place at some point in time that they kind of wanted you to kind of play in the space of. But at a certain point in time, like there has to be some kind of like leadership in wanting to take something in a different direction. And
sure.
Something I think a lot of the products that I make struggle with a lot is certainly like there's always like this kind of line you would walk, like you were kind of alluding to, between like marketability or just like overall kind of like, not wanting to make an existing user base upset is certainly something that happens a lot in companies. And one of the things that I've experienced personally is that oftentimes it leads to like not wanting to really innovate or try and push anything, unfortunately, because they don't want to make anybody upset. And so I don't necessarily know that like, I don't work at Bungie. Sorry.
As companies grow, experimentation, it carries a much higher cost, and you start to have to deal with a lot of different things, right?
Oh, for sure.
So, whereas for Colorado kid who we just talked to, he could fucking try. He could try anything he wants. There's no failure cost, right?
Yeah.
He's already living in a van. He's already dedicated to his mission. He's taken it all the way there. When you're a multi-million-dollar or multi-billion-dollar company or corporation, you want to experiment and change things. It's really, really difficult. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Ultimately, what that comes down to is leadership. You need to have a CEO, or members that sit on a board that are willing to educate themselves and take a hard risk on something. I said it when Destiny 2 originally came out, that the structure and design of the investment in Destiny 2 is so drastically different than the structure and design of investment in Destiny 1 that it is an obvious experiment in seeing to see whether or not they would get a strong market response to it. And leading up to the blog post that they're making today, I personally feel that the community's reaction to this experiment is sort of proof, it's proof positive that maybe it didn't work out in the best possible way. But I like experimentation in the business space. I think it should be encouraged. Sometimes,
it's totally necessary.
Sometimes shitty results happen. And, if you're a Destiny fan and you feel like the state of the game, Destiny 2, is shitty right now, You can, like, I always encourage people to leave their feedback with a measured tone. And if you're positive or negative about it, you need to let people know in a good way, because conversation is important. But at the end of the day, understanding that risks need to be taken in order to move things forward. And that's why a lot of games, not just Destiny, get sequelitis, because they try and reinvent their own wheel. Okay. And in doing so, they lose what this conversation started as. They lose their authenticity. So it's incredibly difficult. And I mean, I think Bungie's in a tight spot right now, and that's why I guess I'm looking forward to very much their blog post today.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I want to be clear too. Like, I really still enjoy Destiny 2. Like, I enjoy the shit out of it. So I don't really, maybe it's because of partly empathetic to like the design team. And
you're incredibly empathetic to, if you're a designer, you get it. If you're a coder, you get it. Like, I can't imagine people who are on Twitter and looking at some of the fucking vitriolic garbage that's out there, and they're like, oh God, like, I'm glad I'm not over there coding, because fucking death threats suck.
Oh my God.
You know, people who have practical experience tend to have a really good perspective on it.
Yeah, I mean, you can go on like App Store and like I can read reviews of things that I've designed and like kind of like shake my head a little bit at like some of the comments I see. And you're like, oh man, not
like,
what I wanted.
Boy, you could program this in your sleep or blah blah blah, and you're like, okay, guy that's never programmed a thing in your entire life.
Yeah,
yeah, I get it. I mean, that's but that, I mean, that in and of itself is an issue. Fuck, I wish I knew the psychological term. Now we're just talking and having a good time.
The Dunning-Kruger effect? I think that's what you're thinking
about. The Dunning-Kruger effect. It's the the expert fallacy. The less you know about something, the simpler you think it is.
Exactly.
And that effect is incredibly powerful in all spaces of high level execution, whether it's game design, art, video production. I don't give a shit what it is. Neurosurgery. That is a powerful effect as you sort of ascend the strata of skill in any field. So it's powerful. And if you're listening to the podcast, you need to make sure you keep that shit in check with yourself all the time. You need to, and I make this mistake all the time. I don't know about something, so I just assume like, well, you just fucking go into my brain and you take out the thing that makes me, like, you just go into my brain and then you just take it out. Like all the bad, you just take out the bad thing. Just like I take a pill and the bad thing goes away. And the neurosurgeon is just looking at you like, God, it's just like, is this brain worth saving? Like,
not with thoughts like that.
So it's tough.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate the discussion a lot, man. Like, it's just something that I always, I'm interested to hear like somebody who's like kind of in touch with it from a different perspective than somebody who's like actively making like a game. You definitely make your own thing. I'm not saying that. And I obviously a subscriber for almost 2 years, so I like it a lot. But just like the act of making a product that people are kind of like accessing and have like a lot of feedback on can be really interesting to observe.
It's tough. Yeah. I mean, it's incredibly interesting. I love dialogue. So being in the position that I'm in is great. And I've learned a lot, and it feels good, man. Do you want to shout out like any of the projects that you're working on right now, or your Twitter, or anything, any sort of self-promotional needs I can help you?
Self-promotional needs. You can follow me on Twitter at IHateMike if you want to do that. And I don't Twitch stream as much anymore, but I probably will under this account for I Am a Tomo. And the Winter Olympics website that's happening in South Korea is a thing I did. So if you want to visit that and check that out, that would be cool. Yeah,
that's cool. So you're designing the Winter Olympics website.
Yeah, that's when I started following you, actually.
Oh man, I can't wait to bitch about the live streaming on there. I'm gonna be like, this fucking live stream is fucking garbage on his website. I'm gonna make you so mad, dude. I'm just gonna I'm gonna wait for you in chat, and then I'm gonna start talking shit on it.
Please do.
I won't do that to you. I love you. Thank you very much for asking your question, man. Go check out the Winter Olympics website that I Am a Tomo is designing.
Word.
That's or as part of the design team. You have a great day, man.
Yeah, you too, man.
See ya.
See ya.
Dude. Dude. What a fucking incredible podcast today, man. I absolutely loved it. man, so many good questions about everything. So many awesome people. Thank you guys for listening out there on iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play or SoundCloud or Anchor. I think you're all incredible. If you would do me the greatest kindness in the world and rate this podcast, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Share it with your friends. Share it with somebody who's got, I don't know, something that they want them to learn so they'll be less of a dipshit. I don't know, whatever you want. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.